The Honda Element was a peculiar addition to the then burgeoning SUV segment in the early 2000s. Some loved its practical and efficient design, while others were turned off by its quirky demeanor. Nevertheless, it remains a memorable car even 13 years after its final model year. So given the explosion in popularity of SUVs in the past decade, will Honda bring back one of its most iconic vehicles? The Honda Element began life as the Model X, with development beginning in 1998. The research and development team spent a lot of time interviewing their target market at places like college campuses, beaches, campsites, and even the 1998 X Games, hinting at where the Model X got its name. Afterwards, the team took top executives on a camping trip to expose them to how their target buyers would use their vehicle.
It combines basically the features of a light truck, an SUV, and throws in actually kind of a college dormitory as well. So it's really meant for the young, active male lifestyle.
The concept finally made its debut at the 2001 North American Auto Show in Detroit. The concept looked surprisingly like the finished product, the main difference being the futuristic interior and a removable roof over the cargo area, designed to make it more akin to that of a pickup truck bed. Another pickup truck-like feature was the suicide doors into the cabin, commonly seen on extended cab trucks. With no B-pillar between the doors, they opened up to create a vast loading space for larger objects. It included the conflicting ability to play both cassette tapes and MP3 files, as well as DVDs on a flip-up display. The removable roof feature would actually make it to production a few years later on the GMC Envoy XUV, while the Model X nameplate would go on to join Tesla's growing Russian doll-style lineup. The Model X went on sale as the Element starting in 2003. Its main selling point was its capabilities for those with active, outdoorsy lifestyles. Its cargo area featured a low loading floor and was made of easy-to-clean plastic and rubber materials. This allowed it to easily accommodate things like mountain bikes, surfboards, and snowboards. It could even fit a full-size motorcycle. Another interesting feature was the unique seat arrangements. The rear seats could be folded down towards the floor, up onto the sides, or even removed entirely. All of the seats could also fold together to make a large bed. This essentially made it a factory-built vehicle for car campers and van lifers, much like the Volkswagen Westfalia. It was available with front-wheel drive, or what Honda called real-time four-wheel drive. The latter's name generated some controversy as it was only an all-wheel drive system, not a true four-wheel drive. The Element only ever sold with a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated i4 engine, initially offering 160 horsepower, but later increased to 166. While this may seem adequate for a small SUV, it unfortunately did not get exceptional fuel economy, with most reports indicating about 22 miles per gallon combined. Competitors at the time would have included the similarly quirky Pontiac Aztek and the more mainstream Nissan Xterra. The starting price was around $18,000, which may sound like a deal but would be equivalent to just over $30,000 today when adjusted for inflation. In an early attempt at social media marketing, Honda built an advertising campaign around a crab named Gil, who posted his exploits on his MySpace page in an effort to court the youth demographic for the Element. As of the posting of this video, Gil's MySpace is actually still active with about 50,000 connections. However, the page seems to have not survived a previous migration to a new profile layout. In 2007, a more urban-oriented edition was released, the SC, short for Street Custom, which was intended to attract the Pimp My Ride crowd and compete with newly released models like the Nissan Cube and Scion XB. Although the Honda Element initially met sales goals, interest dwindled over time, with it only selling 11,000 units in its final model year, 2011. So will the Element ever return? Well, the spirit of the Element has lived on through other models in the Honda lineup. The much smaller Honda Fit, or Honda Jazz as it's called abroad, featured many of the Element's trademark seating arrangements, allowing for above-its-class cargo capacity. The Fit would later be resold in SUV guise as the HR-V, though even the HR-V has become a more traditional subcompact crossover model. In Japan, Honda sells the N-Box, a key car which resembles the profile of the Element. Unfortunately, the closest you'll come to an Element today in the US is probably the Ford Bronco Sport, or maybe the Hyundai Santa Cruz. However, there is exciting news on the horizon. In December of 2022, Honda filed 2 new patents with the US Patent and Trademark Office. These patents were publicly released in July of this year, and there is high speculation that one of these patents could be for a new Element. The first patent depicts a more pickup truck-like vehicle that features a sliding roof and C-pillar that can enclose the cargo area, much like the original Model X concept, though this could be a patent for the next generation Ridgeline. The second patent is decidedly more Element-like. It shows a similar profile and door layout to the original Element, as well as some kind of expandable tent out the back. A render from CarScoops shows a more lifelike version of the concept. Furthermore, Honda has also recently resurrected its old Passport nameplate and is soon to be releasing a new Prelude, showing that they certainly are willing to revisit older models. And given the ever-expanding SUV lineup offerings and Volkswagen's imminent release of the id.buzz camper, it's definitely a possibility that Honda sees an opening in the market for a new Element.